The world is wondering whether the United States of America is going to consent through silence to stand aside while this kind of brutality is allowed to happen without consequence.
And that, of course, Secretary Kerry testifying today. So I want to ask about the political cost. How has the president played this? Dominic thinks he's played this expertly here. But on the flip side here, has he, as many say, boxed himself into a corner? And is he dependent on others here to help him out of it? How could this hurt Obama politically for the balance of his term with so much on the agenda, not next year, not a year or so from now, but in the coming months here? Could he actually attack anyway, as Tom says, if Congress votes no? And what about the consequences for the GOP? So a lot of those questions. First off, I had a question in terms of time. Yesterday, just as this was starting, before the Senate cast a single vote here and the hearings are just beginning, Boehner and Cantor both come out and say, we're behind the president.
Right.
You surprised at all? That quick leadership came out that
No,
strong
because I think that one of the things that we've heard the drumbeat of is, this Congress, these Republicans who block everything the president. So what they wanted to do was get out in front of that, knowing full well that they were going to have a difficult time with the Republican House members on this issue. So they said, listen, let's get in front of it. We're two guys, leadership guys. We're in favor. That's it. It's off the table. Can't say we're blocking anything now, because I think at the end, the problem's going to be now with those guys is you're going to have the Democrats in the House that you're going to have to worry about to get this through. Maybe their issue.
Dominic,
Yeah.
for me, I have to admit, I'm surprised the president's the position he is now. Saturday, I had the suit in the back of the car. I'm running around doing stuff. I figured I'm getting called in because it's going to start raining in Damascus something. And then all of a sudden, I hear this press conference from the president, and I'm banging on the steering wheel saying, what the bleep is he doing here? What was he doing? He tells everybody we have to do this. This is the red line. They crossed it. The moral compunction of the United States here. And then it didn't really matter what Britain did. We still have our case. And then all of a sudden, well, no, I'm going to ask Congress what they think. Now, for whatever reason, it seems like the stars are aligning for him, assuming he gets the yes vote in the House and the Senate, and assuming it doesn't take 3 months. That all said, do you think he's still out of the woods yet? Because I think he's got a lot of political exposure. If this thing goes south, it's still on him.
It could go south, but I don't see that happening. I see Congress getting behind this, and I don't see the stars aligning for this president. I think he flipped it so that he could manipulate the way. The bottom line is Congress is looking to criticize him no matter what.
If that's the case, and I know you're more right than wrong, Boehner would have let him twist in the wind. Cantor would have let him twist in the wind.
Charlie Rangel's letting him twist in the wind.
No, they can't, because look at what happened as soon as this started. They immediately called for military action. Then the president went that way, and he said, no, you have to get our permission. So, and these are your buddies, the Republicans.
Who called for military action?
These are, go back and look at the McCain tape.
McCain did. In the Senate,
quite a few of them did. Quite a few of them did.
So
but anyway,
so
the president is saying, listen, we're going to do this now. Now, remember, he's an anti-war guy, and he gets to keep his credentials.
See, for me, Evan, I think this was not any coherent strategy. He screwed this thing up last week at this time, and it ran up to the weekend, and all of a sudden he said, all right, you know what? I clearly got the idea his heart wasn't in this, and there weren't the convictions personally for it. And all of a sudden he threw it to Congress and said, it's your mess.
Richard, I don't know what you're talking about. The White House is a well-oiled machine. Democratic Party has never been stronger.
On, right?
Yeah, well, look, clearly there were some missteps along the way here. And the interesting thing to me is really the question of whether or not, as Tom posed, basically, we would even be talking about this if he hadn't made the red line comment. It's an open question. I mean, I should say no, but it's probably
Just agree
true.
with me.
It's probably true that we wouldn't be having this conversation, but we should have been anyway. So we might end up at the right place the wrong way.
Okay, how about a broader question? Go back to our West
And
thing.
the right place for
Will
Obama,
future
too, by the way.
presidents be harmed by the fact that, and I want to get into the whole constitutional debate about what the War Powers Act does and doesn't do. He could have acted if he wanted to act.
Yes.
A week ago at this time, he could have said, do it, and then ask questions later. Forget what Parliament in Britain said and the rest.
Right.
Coalitions are great, I'm with you.
Richard,
But if he
what if
did
he did it and it blows up in his face?
It still could,
But
Dominic.
what if there's but Congress owns it.
Time out.
He's
What
not
happened in
the-
Grenada?
he's not the only
Wait a
one that
minute.
owns
What
it.
happened in Grenada? What happened in Bosnia? I can go through other examples where other presidents facing tough challenges made a decision. And you're right, it comes with consequences and risks. But Andrew, the next president now, if he or she wants to take action, well, hold on, everyone. World timeout. Let me go to the Senate. Let me go to the House and see what they say.
First of all, nobody took the War Powers Act off the books. It still exists. The president still reserves the right to take military action if he wants to.
I think we have a
or
different
she
political
wants to,
definition of it now than we
depending
did a
on who the
week
next president-
ago.
No, it doesn't. It actually doesn't. This is the president's choice to go before Congress and see if he can get support from Congress. If they vote no, and by the way, I think they're gonna vote no. I'm looking at a report from the Post now, 164 no votes in the House. So I don't think they're going to get the votes in the House. I think the House is going to vote no, and he's still going to attack Syria.
No
Why?
way.
Because he still has that right. And by the way, how does he look on the other side of this when the House votes no and he does it anyway? He's going to look like a champ. And how are the Republicans in Congress going to look when they vote no and the president does this anyway? They're going to look like idiots. And all of a sudden we're into 2014 and we're off and running.
Who's
to the
going to look
midterms.
like idiots?
The Republicans in the House who are
Why
going
are
to
the
sink.
Republicans in the House gonna
Because,
look like idiots?
because the
disagree.
numbers that I'm
'Cause this
looking
ain't gonna go
at, there's
perfect,
about
you know?
115 committed or leaning no votes from the Republicans in the House.
And you're going to have a large group of Democrats who join those Republicans to vote no.
Doesn't look like it right
Well,
now.
Listen, you're going to have enough Republicans to join if you had all the Democrats to go with it. But the point is that the president in this particular case is going to benefit at the end once he starts dropping bombs. Because presidents on short-term dropping of bombs always do very well. If he goes in there and for 48, 72 hours or 4 days drops a bunch of bombs and goes, I showed that Assad, he's going to look really good.
Right.
At a time when he needs his numbers to look
and
good.
it doesn't stop any president going forward, or this president going forward, from doing any military
You
action
don't
under
think
the
it's
War
a
Powers
charade
Act.
if Congress votes no and he does it anyway?
No, because he said that, Richard, remember his initial statement. I don't
I know
need
he
it.
said it.
And that's
I
why
know
he
he
said
said
it.
it. I'm not
That's why-
debating you
but
with
that's
that,
why
but
he
still.
said it. That's why he did it.
Then why go through the process?
Because he felt the need to reach out.
is on the record. Each and every member of Congress is on the record, and he flushed them out.
And just as an
it's a
afterthought, I'd
brilliant
say it's the
move.
right
You
thing
agree
to
with
do.
that?
But
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm sorry. First of all, let me just point out how awesome it is that we're talking about this and we're actually voting basically on military action like this. I mean, this is what Obama ran on as Senator Obama, right? Was a more democratic
Took
approach
Hillary
to
Clinton out
military
on.
intervention. Yes.
Well, no, they voted on
exposed,
Iraq.
They did, that's true.
They voted on it.
I know it was kind of scary actually remembering that and watching the hearings and thinking, are they really telling us the truth? But
Why? But see, this is what bothers me, and I hate that comment because
no,
see,
listen to
this
me.
annoys
I
me.
voted for Obama, so I trust him.
So
I
now,
didn't vote
so
for Bush
now we're
because
telling the
he-
truth about what happened in there. But in Iraq, Bush just made all of this up.
no,
I mean,
Wait a
I mean,
minute.
the point is,
very selectively.
Yeah.
what's that?
But let's not relitigate Iraq.
Why not? Let's relitigate it. I mean,
Well, because I got to go to a break. That's what
No,
I'm
but
saying here.
the
But
point
anyway.
is now it's
indefensible
okay.
what they did on Iraq. I mean, that was
We'll
down
continue
below.
this
we are
debate
in
on
trouble
Iraq
now
over
because
here.
of that.
And obviously, as I said, everyone on Syria tomorrow, we're going to be bringing in folks from Capitol Hill to get the latest. And as Andrew told you, this is no done deal, certainly when it comes to the House. All right, when we come back, we switch gears to politics of the local variety. We're going to take a look here at where the mayoral race stands right now, a very spirited debate last night here. We'll also tell you how it's a toss-up in the comptroller's race. We'll have more after this.